don't like to write, so I like to read other people's books, and I always end up with a couple of questions that I think every author needs to be able to take us through before we read the book. Now, of course, you must read the book. We'll get them. But Nompilo, I mean, I've known you for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Dear God, it's been a very long time. And when this book came through, I was obviously trying to recall. I'm like, you know, when you first meet a person and you try to sort of remember those days, and I'm trying to think, at what point in time did I think this was going to be an author? I'm like, I can't actually remember it. I'm like, let me actually just read the book. So talk us through just that very first question. Why have you written a book?
Thank you so much, Khaya. Thank you so much, all of you, for all being here. It's such a privilege for me to sit and talk about my book. I'm so excited that I'm in Joburg, in the city of gold, where the money is.
It used to be.
So what inspired me to write a book? It's just, I kept meeting women, or even young people, even males, that when I show up on social media, Tanazan spoke about showing up on social media, people think you are successful. Even Roshin actually spoke about that. They think you've got it all covered. Yeah. So I wanted to share my experience that, yes, it looks like it's all covered, but there are also parts that you deserve to know that are not all covered. Yeah. And my secret weapon is God. So I also wanted to showcase that your faith actually helps you to step into spaces that you never believed you could. Because honestly, when I left my job, I did not have a plan. I remember my beautiful husband had taken me for dinner. It was Valentine's, 2 weeks before I resigned. And then he was like, are you sure that you're not able to stay? And I was like, I don't think I can. And then he was like, what is the plan, you know? So I wanted to show people that uncertainty, you know? And I'm so excited that in this room, Khaya, there are people that have held my hand to make sure that I make it. Uslondi was coaching me at some point. And then just after I left corporate, and she asked me, so you think you're just gonna speak for free? And then I was like, I love speaking to people. And she was like, no, girl. You don't speak for free at your level if you still need the money. So send that invoice if the corporates are asking you for speaking. And when I sent my first invoice, I remember sending her the screenshots of the invoice and of the payments. Because sometimes you do not even believe in yourself. You don't even know what you're doing. But when you start doing it, then you get confidence. So I wanted people to get that sometimes you can go to uncharted territories and you can take control. Like right now, in Women Business, we've got more than 800 members. When I started, we had less than 50 people. So now I wanted to show people that it is possible to grow, even though if you don't know what you're doing, but if you trust in God, He's able to hold your hand and take you to the place we were dreaming with, the place you're showing us. Through faith, Babo, it's only been 3 years and you've been there for 11 years. And I really admire your story. So it's my uncomfortableness. I don't know, Tishin Gobes, I'm sorry for that English. He's my English teacher. But it's obedience. And me having seen my handsome husband writing 16 books, every time he writes, I'm always like checking his books. He made me feel like it's doable. So I was thinking, what's next? And then every conference we attended, people always said, women like talking, they don't write. So I was like, let me offer something, a piece of me, that generations will read and benefit from it. Yeah. And that's what pushed me to write a book.
There's a problem that exists in South Africa in that we all live under the gospel of comfort zones. So you must remain within a comfort zone. You've got a young family, you've got a young husband who keeps writing instead of becoming a billionaire, which is fine. Because people don't pay for books in South Africa. Yeah. So I imagine you're at a particular point in time where the gospel of comfort zones is what really everybody preaches, and it's what everybody tends to live. And in South Africa, there are particular reasons why people preach that. So when you then make the call to say, actually, I'm going to step out of it, what was the dominant factor? Was it the push factors, an environment that says, this is not my space? Or was it the pull factors that says, I think I can make a difference out there? What was it that got you there?
It was that thing inside of me that says I can make a difference out there. Because I believe that in each and every one of us, there's something that inside that is so strong. And sometimes we ignore that thing and we die having not fulfilled our purpose in life. So I didn't want to die without fulfilling my purpose. And every time, every person that I meet, you know, every time I tell my story, you know, you were there at TEDx, you know, going through those resilience moments, going through those successful moments as well, because life is like that. We cannot just think life will be comfortable and be happy. So if God can use my story to help people see that their story is also valid and they can also change something in someone's life. Yesterday I was graduating from the Women Creating Wealth, and I'm so grateful that my coach, Janet, could be with us today. She traveled for the graduation, so she also stayed for the book launch. So it's the small things when people get to touch you in a certain way and help you through that that journey to make you a better person. And Khaya, I'm a mentor at the National Youth Development Agency. So we get to help young people with their dreams of opening businesses, because unemployment in South Africa is a huge, huge problem. So if we're not going to be the solution, then what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we going to sit there in corporate and be happy that we're getting that paycheck at the end of the month? Or are we going to go out and create? Right now, I employ 7 young people in my company, and which brings 7 families something to eat, which gives hope to 7 families. Yeah. So I believe that if you have the capability, Tandazani, if you have the capability of starting that business, of making that, you know, I believe that God doesn't make a mistake when he plants that idea. The fact that it's there, it's for you to try and establish, for you to try and bring it to life. Because the reason why he gave it to you, he wants you to use it for his glory. Yeah. Just imagine you get to heaven tomorrow and God says, "How, Khaya, what did you do with all those things that I gave you to do?" All the time, the resources, the connections, even the personality is not a mistake. You know, when I was growing up, they used to say I'm that child, you know. But now I see where that personality comes in. I am the child that God made me to be, and I need to be true to that child that God made, and actually express and live the best potential, live the best possible Nompilo I can ever be.
Yeah, yeah. There's always a moment where the vision is there, and then reality intervenes. And the reality is that you wake up one day without the security of a secure job, without the security of knowing where your next check comes from. And the obvious question is, what the hell am I doing? Have I gone completely crazy? So those initial anxieties that say, how do you deal with them and then stick to the purpose?
Actually, I've had a lot of them. And lucky for me, on chapter 6, there is my story on mental health. Because when we lost our son, our firstborn, myself and Tulani, lost a son due to court death. That's when I started attending therapy. And when also in corporate things were not going well, a friend of mine, Desiree, said to me, "Nompilo, maybe because I was getting a bigger role in corporate, so now I had to pack nicely what was happening before I could even leave corporate." So I feel like as people, we must also prioritize our mental health. You know, just someone, especially if you're a leader, just get someone who you can bounce your ideas with, someone you can talk to about your feelings, because people that you love, sometimes they'll be scared to tell you the truth. My first therapy session with Uzama, she just said to me, "Nompilo, it's just boundaries. You cannot make everyone happy." Just even at work. You know, even now with my clients, I know I can put on boundaries like, okay, you cannot get your financial statements today, maybe next week, you know. So those simple things, because we do not know everything that we need to know.
Yeah.
So we must make sure that we get the coaches. We also get people that are going to help us to navigate, because we really do not know everything.
Yeah.
So mental health, I really advocate for counselors, psychologists, all those people that can help us break things down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sounding boards that you mentioned, you also have a reference in the book in that not all sounding boards are going to be positive. Some of them that bounce back negative feedback. And sometimes it's not out of malice. It's simply because people have never known anything except a comfort zone.
Exactly.
So for them, it's a matter of, no. you've lost your marbles. How do you then filter between the positive sounding boards and the negative sounding boards, with the understanding that even with the negative sounding boards, there may be some reflection points that say, actually, that was a blind spot. I hadn't thought about it. Let me incorporate it and to convert that into some positive outcome. How do you filter that?
Wow, I love that question. Khanya always laughs at me because I've got journals, so I reflect. That Slondi was also big on that. Like after every day when I've met with people, I go back and I write down and I say, dear God, thank you so much for such an awesome day. I met with Unomzamo, I enjoyed interacting with her. Certain things you feel when people are saying things, because like I wrote about my friends here who were saying, no, don't do that networking event, it's too soon, it's too tiring. But deep down I knew that that's what God was calling me to do in that season in 2019. And had I not been faithful to that call when God was saying, do it now, I would have missed the train, because the following year then I got to host with the Women in Business, and then a year later I was the CEO of Women in Business. So if you do not move in time, you end up missing opportunities. And you see people playing there and you're like, hi bo, I'm better than Usbanban. But the problem is when you did not show up when you needed to show up. So that person now becomes better than you, but when you have better resources, you have better things, you'll keep saying them, but the people that are playing, you'll keep saying, hi bo, I'm much better, Mina, I'm much better. But you're sitting down and we're seeing all Sandazan going to China, doing all these things, because they're actually in the doing.
Yeah.
We see Russian opening international businesses because they are in the doing. And when you are busy in the sitting and you want everyone to say, you are the boss, but you are actually not moving. I always get people that say to me, how Nompilo, I thought I knew you, but now I see you. I saw you with so and so. I'm like, it's because I'm doing. I'm not just sitting with what I know. I'm not playing with kids. I'm not here to play. So if you're here to play.
Yeah. So I want to transition now into the model, or rather the phase of converting a vision into a business. Did you always have it in mind that this will be a business of this particular type, this is what it's going to do? Or is it something that as you see what really the landscape of business and away from the comfort zone of corporate, how people act and interact, that's when you then develop business ideas and you test those? How did that happen?
I actually did not have an idea, but you know what? I'm going with the flow. Like I'll make an example. There's a client of mine that was referred to by a colleague. We both know, and she's our friend from Cape Town. So she's also a chartered accountant. So she gave me this client. So I was only doing bookkeeping and financials. And then this client came to me and said, Nompilo, you know, the guy that does my payroll sucks. When are you the best accountant? And at that point, I was not even doing payroll. So he was like, I'm going to increase the money I pay for you on a monthly basis. So do my payroll. So he trusted me enough to actually increase the money that he pays me, you know. So I'm evolving. Even the book, at some point when I looked at my books, I was like, oh, I didn't know the books would work, but they are working. Even the speaking, as I show up, then I get other people saying, oh, how much is he speaking? Okay, can you do this? And then, so I did not have like a really strategy in terms of how it will work out. But as I step, I see more things. I see more doors opening. I meet more people, and then they redirecting me, you know. And there's also something powerful about continuously positioning yourself. If you see there's potential somewhere, it's very good for you to actually say, okay, they're talking about this, therefore, if I go there, then I will get this. So that's what I'm always doing when I attend networking events, like who are the people that need accounting solutions, but who are the people as well, which other bodies, like I'm friends with CITFA, I visit them every month, just to check if there are any funding coming up, there's any funding opportunities coming up. So it's navigating, it's like you're dancing, because you find this and you win and you move to the next one, and then sometimes you don't win, and I'm very honest about that here, that sometimes you score and people celebrate you, and sometimes you invest and sometimes it doesn't happen, but it doesn't mean stop. Yeah, so that's what resilience is.
The reality is that a lot of people have business ideas. Very few of them actually start them. and very few of them can maintain and sustain those businesses. So the idea of resilience in business is a huge challenge in South Africa. What are your own reflections on how you managed to survive through what we call, the initial teenage years? I mean, very few businesses actually survive the curve. What do you do that actually enabled your business to really live through the initial anxieties?
Thank you for that question. I think I believe in myself. I do. And I believe that if you are to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to believe in yourself. Even when people are telling you otherwise, and you're like, okay, I hear you, but can I try it this way? And for me, I've seen God doing amazing things before. So I've got no reason not to believe him going forward. I remember at some point with Utulani, there's a gynecologist that told us that if we're not going to do an operation, we're not going to get the child. And today I live with Anes Unomhleng, and we never did any operation. So it's the power of God. And I also believe in prayer. Like, I pray about these things before I actually do them. My first conference, building a powerhouse, every morning I would wake up building. When we are building, how do we build a woman? And then God gave me ideas. He even gave me the speakers, So the idea was in my head, and I had prayed about it. And when I started issuing it out there, and people started joining, I remember Tandazan was one of the speakers as well. Ayanda was also one of the speakers, So when you believe in that idea, you're able to sell it to people. And that's what's important as an entrepreneur, that you must sell your ideas to people. People must buy, they must see it before it even comes to pass, that it is going to happen, because you believe in yourself, you believe in God, that there's a reason why he brought you here. So you are a fighter if you are an entrepreneur. You're not just sitting there looking all pretty, but you are fighting because it's not easy.
Yeah. There's a term in the book that refers to champion entrepreneur. And I wanted to ask you directly, are you simply a champion entrepreneur yourself, or are you a champion of entrepreneurs?
I like that. Okay, so this champion entrepreneur comes from, if you go on my Instagram or on my TikTok, you will see there's a video. So last year, November 7, I think, the Chamber of Commerce in Pietermaritzburg, they were looking for someone who's building in the community, who's building a thriving business, they were looking for a leader, because I lead in women in business. I also mentor at National Youth Development Agency. I also am recruiting in my business. They were looking for someone who's a good example to other businesses. And that's when they crowned me the champion entrepreneur. So that's what I've used as a title of my book, that, I didn't know I was a champion myself. I was actually not even applying for the championship, because I was like, that's big for me. My business is only 2 years. But they saw it fit for me to put me in that category, because they're saying, you are not just building your business, but you are building a community in women business. You are doing this, you are doing that, and you are showing us what we've never seen before. So therefore, we are crowning you the champion.
Well, the reason I asked you if you're a champion of entrepreneurs is that you do have case studies in the book of people whose businesses you've engaged with, you've sort of identified what their problem statement was, and offered solutions for them so that they become more resilient as businesses. That makes you a champion of entrepreneurs, doesn't it?
Well, if you say that, yes. Actually, there was a nice testimony that I got on my Segela program, Unosipho Vava. She said to me, Nompilo, I would not be where I am if it was not for you. Because she came in as my client, and then I referred her to an enterprise development program. And now she's more confident in her business, and she's gone on to get other fundings. Like, she recently got the SAP Foundation, 250,000. Like, she keeps on climbing, and then every time she shares her story, she's like, when I booked that coaching consultation with Nompilo, that's when my story changed. Yeah. When I made Nompilo my accountant, my story became, I was never the same again. And today I get clients referred from her because of what I have done. So yes, I've got case studies. My friend right here from Owetu, when we met, she was owing SARS a lot of money, and we helped her get... She
overpaid 70,000 rand.
Yes, and then she got, you read the book. Yeah, so she got a refund after owing SARS such a lot of money, and she actually got to pay half the amount that she was owing SARS. So we're able to make those solutions. So it gets me so excited as an accountant that I get to offer such solutions for my clients, and they get to talk about it, and they, so it fulfills me. And I believe in relationships, guys. It's not just about the exchange, the money. So that's why I love networking and the collaborations, because we can do more together. We cannot all be specialists in one thing. We recently got a tender with transport, and there was 5 accountants, and it was a lot of money. So it was good that I could do the evaluation of their enterprise development programs, and then another accountant could do auditing. Those things, they are possible.
Yeah.
And some of us as Black entrepreneurs, we don't even speak about them because we've not been in business for that long. Like some of us are the first generation of entrepreneurs in our families.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Entrepreneurship journeys can be quite lonely in some cases, where you just really championing or chasing a dream on your own, and other people are saying, Tina, we've got 9 to 5s.
Exactly.
So the networking that then enables people to share insights and to then identify what their own blind spots are. How important is that?
Networking is key. You were not here when Rasheen was explaining that. I thought she was in Dubai, and I had her video thinking she's in Dubai. But when I asked Khaya, my friend, that I want to have a networking that has an outward focus, that can make the women in South Africa see that it's actually a global economy. They can do business anywhere in the world. And then Khaya told me about Lisha. Lisha was not available. I'm sure you've seen this in the book. And then Rasheen, she wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't ask her, and if she didn't come to speak at our event. Dr. Zondi was also there at that event in Hillcrest last year. Yes, she was there. Yeah. So, it's the amazing things that happen. Like I could not have been even on the TEDx stage had I not networked with that lady from Segela program. So everywhere we go, we are building relationships, and those relationships have potential to open doors for us. I've actually been networking with someone online for the past 3 years, Tembi, and we've only met today. Yes. So she's referred me to a lot of people. She's referred women in business to a lot of people. So it's making the circle bigger is very important. Networking, and there's something I always like to share that says that everyone you'll ever knows something that you don't. Yes. So when you network, it's an opportunity for you to learn from someone else, where they come from, how their people act, how they do business where they come from, or even about kids. There are a lot of things we learn when we network.
Yeah. You've been recognized for some of the work that you've done. You've won some important awards out there. Do those then serve as the motivation to do more and to expand the reach and to expand the network? Or is it a matter of, oh, thank God, now let's rest? How do you react to those?
No, we can't rest. We still need to build a legacy for our kids. They still need to know that they can do these things because their mom and dad could do it. We need to normalize it. So I cannot rest after getting those awards. I just go, oh, thank you so much. And then the next morning, I think of the next one, because we need to keep going. We need to keep evolving. We need to continuously learn as people who are working and as entrepreneurs as well, because until we see Jesus face to face and Grace Amazing calls us home, we continue. Of course, Tembi, without reaching burnout, and make sure that we are balanced human beings. But, it's not just say, now you are it. Now you can just sit there, you are a trophy, whatever. No, you're not.
It's a motivation.
It's just
so the thing about a book is that you don't want to tell everybody everything that's in the book. So again, people must read the book.
Yes.
But I do have one last question for you.
Amen.
So what is this one lesson, this one key takeaway that you want every reader, every woman in business, every woman who's got an idea but is crippled by the fear, what's the one thing you want them to take away just from reading this book?
I want to say, feel the fear. And do it anyway. You'll never know what's on the other side of fear if you do not do it. So just feel. Also, we do things, like certain things I do with my knees shaking, But I'm like, you know what, Nompilo, I look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what, girl, you're going to do this hard thing and it's going to be a success. So even if you're feeling fearful and you're feeling like it's not going to be a success, just think on the other side, what if it becomes a success? So feel the fear and do it anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, feel the fear. Thank you very much for having joined us and read the book. Read the book. Thank you very much, Nompilo.
Thank you so much, Khaya.
Congratulations, congratulations. All right, MC, back to you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khaya. Thank you so much, Nompilo. On that note, I have nothing to add, nothing to share.